Put all your eggs in one basket. Here we go again with controversial titles. Did I forget to write "don't" in front of the sentence? Nah, what you see is what you get. I acknowledge that this goes against conventional wisdom. At one point or the other in your life, you've probably heard someone say these words: don't put all your eggs in one basket. To be fair, the reason behind this statement is understandable. You're thinking safety, balance, risk management, and in many contexts, it makes perfect sense. But today, I would like to focus on a very specific context, which is where you invest your time, energy, and effort, especially in the early stages of your life and career. Andrew Carnegie, who was the richest man in the world between the late 19th century and early 20th century, made a quote that inspired today's title. He said, "Put all your eggs in one basket and watch the basket." Now, he wasn't saying be careless. He wasn't saying ignore risk. He was saying focus. And not just casual focus, but intentional, relentless, undivided attention. There's something deeply powerful about focus, laser focus. There's something about showing up consistently and directing your energy into one thing over and over again. Imagine someone trying to chop down a tree. They pick up their axe and hit one tree. Then after a few times, they walk to another tree and repeat the process. And then another tree and another tree. At the end of the day, they've made a few marks on 5 different trees, but none of them fell. Now imagine another person who chooses one tree and keeps swinging at the same spot, day in, day out. Eventually, it comes crashing down. That's the power of focus. In today's world, we are constantly encouraged to diversify, to multitask, to have multiple streams of income. And I understand. I agree that diversification has its place. I also agree that you may find yourself in circumstances and seasons of life where you need to juggle more than one thing. But here's the truth. There's a thin line between doing many things and spreading yourself too thin. Particularly if you are trying to master complex skills, you need to dedicate ample time to attain mastery. And it's usually impracticable to invest the needed amount of energy into multiple things at a stretch. So you might want to choose depth over breadth. Multiple income streams. I agree that multiple income streams can be very helpful. And in fact, I encourage you to build multiple income streams as much as possible. But let me give you some food for thought. Do you realize that you can have 5 income streams and someone else with just 1 income stream is wealthier than you? That hits you, right? Now pause for a moment and soak it in. Think again about the 3 words I said a moment ago. Depth over breadth. You may have 5 jobs, but if none of them allows you to build depth or expertise, you might end up exhausted, but not exceptional. You can chase 10 ideas at once, but if none of them gets your full commitment, none of them may reach their full potential. Sometimes, it's the person with 1 solid income stream, built through years of focus, mastery, and consistency, that ends up more successful than the person trying to juggle 5 side hustles at the same time with no real growth. Again, don't get me wrong. This is not a jab at anyone who is multitasking to survive. Sometimes you don't have a choice, and I respect the hustle. But here's the catch. At some point, you need to narrow your focus. At some point, you need to say, this is the path I'm choosing. This is the basket I'm watching. Because until you do, you may find yourself busy but not productive, active but not advancing. Many of the people we look up to who have multiple income streams usually grew one first and then leverage that one to build the others gradually. Now, speaking of watching the basket, when Carnegie said watch the basket, he didn't mean to relax and hope for the best. He meant guard it with everything you've got. Give it attention, give it care, refine your crafts, learn the skills, Be patient, be present. When you focus on one thing and pour yourself into it, your growth, your business, your career, you give it the chance to flourish. And here's the beauty of it. Once that basket becomes stable and successful, you now have the freedom and the resources to diversify. But the initial stage requires a high level of commitment. So my final thoughts. Today, I'm not asking you to abandon all your dreams or ignore your backup plans. I'm not also asking you to just ditch your side hustles. What I'm asking you to do is to evaluate. Ask yourself, am I giving my best energy to the right thing? Am I building depth or just dabbling into everything? Am I being intentional with where I place my focus? Remember, you cannot master what you don't give your full attention to. And mastery is where the real value lies. So yes, just like Carnegie said, put your eggs in one basket and watch the basket. Watch it like your life depends on it, because honestly, it probably does. That's it for today's episode. If you found this helpful, please share it to someone who needs to hear it. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and share. These things just help the algorithm suggest this to more people so that they can also learn what you just learned. Thank you for listening. Until next time, stay focused and keep being amazing. My name is Murphy Nnamdi Ochuba.